astronomy and geology and Chem 2 in the following year, and then saving anatomy and physiology, biology 2, engineering, physics, which is really physics 2, principles of science, properties, matter for that following year. After that, again, those tend to be more of the elective courses that not quite as many students end up taking. Although we are looking at this as a great opportunity just to breathe new life into things and make sure that we're hitting all those NGSS concepts, which if you share any sort of passion about it like I have, you'll recognize that next gen science standards are very much about not only skill development, but really making connections through the content. So, the content is important, but it almost plays like a background role to how you're using it and how you're engaging with it and how you're trying to make sense of, the phenomenon in the world that we observe. So it's kind of a neat way to go about exploring science because it lends itself to being investigated. We also postponed our AP, mapping to that final year. And I think it's worth noting that, throughout these next few years, the resource renewal or allocation is going to follow the dictates of the College Board. So if we have textbooks that are hitting that 10-year mark, we're going to stay on that cycle and renew as needed. This does not mean that all AP courses are going to hit up for resources at all at the same time. It will be staggered according to what we have in place already, which is pretty well spread out through our departments and, shouldn't strike the iron all at the same time and implode the system. So that's the basic overview of science. Again, we're a little bit brave in taking the leap in elementary and saying we're going to go for it, we're going to do it right away. But after having conversations with the elementary teachers and looking at the strength of the maps that we have, we feel confident that we're going to be able to make those mapping decisions pretty soon. Any questions about science? Okay. I'm going to turn it back over to Mr. Beverker to talk about our software.
So the natural, I'll just get right into the segue here. So, and I know several of you are teachers. So you know that scope and sequence and curriculum maps, I'm sure you've seen them before, right? And a lot of times, certainly I did as a teacher, and they would be something that you would take a look at, and maybe they'd be on the side of your desk, or maybe people look at them and never look at them again. And that is not, there's a lot of work going into this. This is meaningful work. A lot of people are putting effort into it, and it's taking time. We're doing that purposely. This is that important. So what we also want to do is make it dynamic for teachers. So making it so that I can access that curriculum, those maps, so to speak, what I have to teach, where I am, when I was going to teach it, how we're going to assess it, what are we assessing, what are some resources for me, what instructional strategies may work best with what I'm teaching. That's what's all included in the map. We wanted to make it so that teachers would access that and stay on top of that, be part of that ever-evolving process. Because it isn't done. When we come to you this summer and say, here, this is where we are, that doesn't mean, oh, we're never looking at that again. We're looking at that ongoing. And that should be that way. We looked at several different management systems to kind of house all of this. We looked at that for that reason, that teachers are always looking at the curriculum. We also looked at it because it gives us a assessment system to see where we teach standards, to what degree we teach standards. It gives us the analytic piece of curriculum we don't have, other than looking at all the papers and then do vertical mapping, and we've done that. We map, we put everything up there, and everybody walks around the room to see. But this is actually a robust, sophisticated system, so that we have insurance that all the eligible content standards that we are required to teach are taught where they need to be taught, and to the degree that they need to be taught. So that is really the two major reasons why we are asking for an investment in a system like that.
No, I think you hit it all, and that was really the important piece, is that we're not just looking from 7th grade and then 9th grade again, even in any health or phys ed. Like, we want to see what we're actually doing and laying it out and mapping that piece, so we are very cognizant of making sure we hit all aspects of the student
So we'd like to thank, he took the lead and he had a committee of teachers and administrators who looked at several, and I will not say another word, they did.
Well, it's fine, I can stay here. So it became very clear, as Kathy and Tony said, as we started this process with Heidi Hayes Jacobs and with Ben Cali, it became very clear that we needed something to house this information and also to be able to analyze that information, to be able to have the analytics to see where we're meeting the standards, where we're missing content, where those things are happening. So we needed a robust system that was able to provide us with that. And so we did bring a focus group together. It was administrators, it was teachers from all levels, and we looked at Atlas, which is actually, Heidi Hayes Jacobs is a consultant for Atlas, and we also looked at EduPlanet, which Ben Akalik is a consultant for EduPlanet. So it was really between Heidi and Ben when it came down to it in terms of what we were going to go with. It was nearly unanimous. We definitely reached consensus in terms of Atlas, just being the more user-friendly, more accessible for the teachers to be able to understand it, the formats and things like that. And we also thought about using what we currently have, like Canvas and Google Docs. And even though Canvas and Google Docs can be useful for us, it just couldn't provide the analytics that we needed for this. And so we needed something that would be able to do that for us. And so Canvas and Google Docs just really had the limitations that way. What's nice about Atlas is it actually interfaces with Canvas. So teachers can go on their Canvas pages and they can see the curriculum maps that have been built in Atlas. And so it's a nice interface there. And then if they go through Canvas, they can eventually get to Atlas in order to update and things like that. So there's a little bit of a seamless integration there that was really helpful, we think, for teachers. Because if a teacher's not writing the curriculum per se and not spending time with it, we at least want them to have access to it, to be able to see it and be able to use it. And so having Canvas as another avenue for them to go is really important as that one. So the focus group came together and we really felt that Atlas was the best choice. And so our implementation plan is actually happening very rapidly. We are having a training with a core group tomorrow, supervisors, tech integrators, coaches, coordinators, just looking at Atlas overall, what it entails, the site, how to navigate it. And then we're going to be actually pushing it out to secondary teachers on February 13th. So we're going to be using that, February 18th actually, February 18th. Get into your days. February 18th, and where we'll train all secondary teachers to be able to go in and write curriculum, use it, and use the system, and of course the analytics that are available to the administrators, but also in some cases teachers, so they can see what's happening as well. So the implementation is definitely happening. It's mostly for secondary right now. We're not quite sure about elementary in terms of when that is going to happen, but again, I think if we go with secondary first, because a lot of our curriculum documents are going to be happening here in 2021, it's important for us to start with Atlas with secondary in order to start this process along. Okay, so I just wanted to show you a couple things just to give you a little better idea of what this was. And let me just go here. So I just wanted to show you this page here. This was linked on the PowerPoint. And it's kind of hard to read, but you can see some of the Atlas features. Again, some of the things they talked about. I think what's really great about it is the collaboration piece. So multiple teachers can access curriculum documents, and it can be collaborative, it can be real time in terms of them working with this, but it's customizable as well. So the unit planner is flexible. So Dr. Scheid had shown the template earlier. We can actually embed that template into what they have here and use their tools to enhance that. So it's not just writing it on documents, actually putting it into something that we can then use as we move along. And it also, again, just really provides those analytical pieces, color coding. It just allows us to really easy to look at the information, see, okay, where are the gaps, what's happening where, and not just for administrators to realize that, but for all teachers to see that across the board. So it really does offer a plethora of features that really run the gamut of how to design the curriculum, and that's part of their professional development is what are best practices for curriculum design and how does that work within the system. And so it actually helps you as you're writing the curriculum documents to do so in a way that's going to be beneficial. And so Atlas will help us with that aspect as well. And so we actually are going to see our site is ready tomorrow, but what I want to do is I want to show you a demo site that they have here. So for example, you would go to a dashboard here, and again, everyone will have access to this kind of a dashboard with some different permissions, but basically this dashboard. And so there's multiple things here. You can see curriculum documents listed up here. You can look at curriculum at a glance. You can do searches for different types of curriculum. It actually shows you keywords and things like that within your documents. I'm not sure why lecture is such a prominent feature here. And then we go down and we see different kinds of assessment. So this tells us where that assessment occurs, what kind of assessment it is, and it just, again, as a quick snapshot, can show you the different assessment methods that we're using. And then, of course, if you click on this, you can drill down further into what those assessment methods are. You can do searches by grade level, you can do searches by courses. We're actually doing an upload with Atlas right now where we're assigning every teacher to a course and to a grade level. So again, we can drill down and see exactly what's happening in each one of those grade levels. And then, of course, down here is an actual document that you can see here. And there are attachments, and there are documents that, that we can put in here, links and attachments. So this is kind of like the area that would show on Canvas. So you can kind of see the curriculum document, and then you could actually click to the links to go to a resource or to go to a PDF file or something like that would be embedded, and then you can bring that into your Canvas course. So it's pretty seamless in terms of bringing those materials over that way. And then, of course, there are all kinds of reports that you can run. And the reports are, again, it shows you various things. Again, I know this is hard to read, but it just shows you where standards are being met, where assessments are being met, what courses it's happening in. Let me try to find a better. This one right here is here. So this shows you a typical course. Shows you what grade levels are doing this, when it's happening during the year. You can see when those standards are being met. You can see when that content is being met, and then you can scroll through that as well. So again, it really kind of shows us, as an overview, what's happening across those grade levels and across those disciplines. Any questions on that?
Am I understanding this correct? So if I'm a teacher and I have a great video that I come across for a certain lesson, I would have access then to be able to upload that to share with the remainder.
Yes. You could actually link it into this document here.
So it's a really good sharing.
And that's also when teachers create Canvas courses as well. They have those things linked there as well. So that's why the integration with Canvas is so nice, because they could also bring those Canvas modules and link those as well. So it's really, really powerful for the teachers as well. But in terms of with the students, what we can do and what we can see from that perspective.
Just a
Yes, sir.
So if I understand, maybe I missed it early on, this is cloud-based,
It is.
okay? Content management with analytics, right? You talked about the curriculum, right? Okay.
Right.
So to calibrate me. The template integration, our template you talked about, is that something that we can do, or is that something we have to contract with Atlas to do for us?
That's part of the package.
That's part of
So
what
it's
they're-
part of what they
Okay.
do. They customize their program to adapt to what Penridge is using.
Perfect. And you said it was permissions based. Who administers the permissions? Is that administered through our Active Directory, or is that something managed through Mrs. Miller's group?
It's Mrs. Miller's group. It's the Power School. We use
Okay.
Power School to upload the data. So teachers are assigned to courses and grade levels,
Okay.
and then we will have certain, we'll have administrative access supervisors in terms of being able to see certain things, and then we will grant permissions to teachers
Okay.
to be able to write the documents.
Okay. And aside from the content piece of it, the analytics and when certain standards are being met and not met, is there additional input required by the teachers?
Once we input it into the actual curriculum document,
Mhm.
then that data will all be there.
It flows
in the system.
automatically.
Yes, it flows automatically. And just to segue from that, I just wanted to show you an example of a curriculum template. And we talked about the understanding by design with Witties and Mackay. You can see that stage 1 here is desired results. So there's the big ideas and essential questions, competencies. Here you can see things that are uploaded, PDFs, here links, concepts that are here. And then here's the assessment evidence, and assessment is so key, such a key piece of the document, so you can have that here as well. And then, of course, the learning activities, the learning plans, and that's where the differentiated instruction come in, the technology integration, the different resources like the habits of mind and those types of things that we can put in. So this is a demo site, so ours is going to look slightly different, but it'll be set up in that understanding by design template. So that's how teachers will approach the writing of the curriculum.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, we're very excited. Chester, I'm gonna let you take over from here. Thank you, everyone.
Howard, you're next.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
As he's transitioning, and as we're transitioning to that, I just want to publicly thank Dr. Scheid and Dr. Marchek and the 4 curriculum supervisors. This has been, and we're only a year and a half into a 3-year complete rewrite of all of our 4 curriculum terms. And so just and a couple of them mentioned it, the teachers having time to just talk about that vertical articulation and what content needs to be presented in the courses and the connection between the different courses. It has been a lot of really good sessions and a lot of really good conversation. And it looks simple on charts, but it is an awful lot of work. And an awful lot of work ahead, but because the groundwork has been done well, really just such a huge push forward for the district. So I just want to thank them for all of the work that they've done and also that they will be doing. It's really good stuff.
So moving on to the curriculum proposal for honors, intro to computer programming honors. It would be it says that to me.
I was the only one in the room. I'm so sorry. No, not you. Sorry.
Okay. So, this is an area in our math program that I really want to focus on the side. It's not a core course or anything, but it's an important area that I think is underutilized, under-enrolled for the 3 courses that are available. So there's a couple of things that are going to go into this. Number one, the 3 courses, and it's kind of strange the way it's done, but it's not us, it's more the College Board. 2 of them are AP, and in between there was a course that was just academic, academic only. So what was happening is a lot of people were taking the first course in the AP, dropping, and then later on picking up. But the second course provides a lot of help to the third course. So, the idea here is, and this is, I'm looking at this in a little different lens that I would look at going from Algebra 1 to Algebra 2 into the honor, Algebra 2 versus Algebra 2 honors, that kind of thing. Here, because there's only a few choices, we're looking at Intro to Computer Programming, changing it from academic to honors by raising the level a bit, but not so high that we can't keep academic kids from having the availability to take the course. So, although there's a huge distinction between, not huge, but honors Algebra 2 and Algebra 2 honors, like there's a very distinct difference between the two. Here we're raising the level, but I want it to be available to academic and those that would take the honors, because one of the things that became very clear in the night when we were in the Audion, for the 8th grade parent night, when they were coming up, a lot of people, a lot of the parents, a lot of the kids expressed that they wouldn't take the computer course as it is because it is only an academic level, and they didn't want to risk their GPA and possibilities. So, and I get that. So here we're straddling the line a little bit. We raised the level. We changed the software. The Python is new and it's used quite a bit. Don't ask me too many technical details if you're in that field. I've done some research on it, but I can't talk the game for that. However, with that, one of my hopes is, and there was a lot of interest that night, both in personal finance, which I was, and hopefully this time next year I'm sitting here talking about that. But for this course here, there was a lot of interest in the course, and my feeling is there's only one person teaching the course right now, and my personal feeling is you don't grow enough when you only have one person teaching it. So if I can grow the computer programming and I can get multiple people in there, I think we will also raise the level of instruction that we're doing in there, because there will be multiple eyes on it. And I've been canvassing the department, there's at least 2 people that are also additionally interested in being involved. So if I can get enough signups, and my feeling is I won't lose the academic folks because they can still get to this course, and I'll gain those that we're gonna drop initially. So my goal with this course, because the thought was, do I keep an academic, do I keep an honors? And I didn't think I could get both of them to run. With this here, I think I can get them all to run. So if that happens, I think that we'll get enough to where, whether it be this coming fall or the next one, that we can start to have multiple teachers teaching it. And I know I have one for sure, and I have one in the master's program right now, and that would be so exciting to have multiple people look at it. It would freshen it up.
So you're saying that this would be titled an honors course, but students who are really academic level will still be able to take?
They'll still have the availability to take it. We are raising it a little bit by bringing in the new program. He added a few other pieces into it, but not so high that it's unattainable.
But high enough that it matches the rigor of other honors courses, right? So it's a legit honors course with the honors designation.
We're raising that level there, yes. So not as clear a distinction as like Algebra 2 honors, but we've definitely raised where the course was.
So I'm kind of interested in the feedback piece that drove you here, right? You said that from your assessment of it, it was about GPA management for a lot of the feedback that you've gotten. Was there any part of that that was related to course content as opposed to GPA management?
Well, the kids expressed interest in the content.
Okay.
When I was talking to them, and I talked to a ton that night. That was a really great night to have all those kids and parents come up, and a lot of the kids spoke about their interest. They spoke about the content. The parents did more of letting me know that, although interested, they may not because of.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a very interesting night for that.
Do you mind if I join in and just show support for you right now? I think with, the onset, initiation of our elementary STEM program, as well as being in our 3rd year of middle school STEM, we're finding that there's a lot more interest and push towards computer programming skills, and I think the shift to Python is a very wise move, in going forward in terms of, transferable skills that students and families are looking for. Just staying up to date with the most current languages and those types of skills is going to be really vital. So shifting it honors with Python, I think, is appropriate, for sure. I think the demand will be there. But I see interest only rising as, our other programs really, take root.
So I'm a little bit curious from that input. So Python, is that a building block to higher levels, or is that something you're hearing from industry that programming?
Based on several people that came up to me during that night as well, that are in the industry.
Yeah.
They said that they're not using Visual Basic as much as they are now, that they're going towards the Python.
Right. Okay. I'll show my age a little bit because, in my world, we're still using C++.
I was gonna say
So-
That's the last of the coding I did.
Yeah.
Maybe you should have said that.
Keep
We're
that to
all dating ourselves suddenly. Okay,
Very
so,
effective language for the time. Come on.
all right, just curiosity on my part, more than anything else, so thank you.
This has been a learning experience for me. I mean, because I left high school knowing Fortran Basic and COBOL. So that was the time I did it like a ton. And started as a computer programming major until I realized I didn't want to sit and code all the time. But some people really love.
Yep, yep. It only took me one class to realize I dislike coding. I really dislike it.
I just want to clarify, just so everybody's comfortable with moving forward with this proposal, is that it is an actual honors course, that it does rise to the level of this is an honors course. Academic students who may not be taking many honors courses may still be able to participate, work really hard, do well in it, but it's an honors course by criteria.
Yes.
That's
I
what I
didn't
want
want
to
to
be
shut
really
it
clear on,
off.
that it's, that is what it is.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to, because you have to be careful if you're getting something honors designation and it's not.
Yeah, and I don't think, the difference between the two really is, to get to the Algebra 2, you have to have the Algebra 1 to get, you have to have these pieces in place to get there. It's clearly
That's what I
delineated.
meant.
With the programming, it's a little different, and I really wanted it still to be available.
Maybe it'll be a good thing to teach them to
Yep.
aspire to take honors courses too.
And
That's
how
our
this,
hope.
this sets the way for the AP if they're interested.
Yes,
That
they-
computer
Because of
science,
preparation.
their preparation for it, so that rigor.
Yeah, now you could go to the AP, like it's AP, that course, this course, and then back to AP. You can do AP to AP without it, but it's much, I spent time with Mr. Harris going over this here, and the components that are in that course help you out in the next course.
So we want to encourage students to take it, it would be beneficial to them.
Yes.
Are there any questions, or is there anything else you want to add?
Yeah.
Next is the annual student achievement, which is going to be lengthy. So, if you want to stand up and stretch.
Annual.
That's what I have here, the
Yeah,
annual
it's the
student
annual.
achievement.
It's over there.
But this is,
No, oh, no, it's not that. That's next. Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Night.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
That's not
No,
it.
that's not it either.
There you go. That's it. It's hard to see. There we go. So, thank you for the opportunity to share this tonight, annual student achievement and growth report. So a couple of things prior to we start. So this report is that 30,000-foot view, where we really want to encompass what the achievement and growth has been in regards to academics across the K-12 spectrum here. Within your administrative notes, you do have what we put together as a data, the data, district data and student achievement report. That really gives you the specific numbers to PSSA achievement. We've included attendance, we've included participation in music programs and sports, as well as the number of the colleges that students attended last year, over the last 3 years. So we're trying to develop a path to see some history here within the district itself. So I just wanted to preface this, that information prior to getting right into the presentation tonight, because I didn't want you to think that we were keeping the information out of it, but rather we're highlighting kind of the aspects of what is in that report, and then also the direction we're going, and that we know what needs are, what the needs are for our students and how we're going to address that. So, with that said,
In the highlights, students from our graduating class, 1819, are represented at 100